Okay, we got some stuff going on, but I wanted to talk about these windows. So we pulled this temp door out and we completed the pan. So we cut out the subfloor here and dropped the pan down, Exto-Seal, 2 layers of Adhero underneath and over top of the Exto-Seal. And then also completed the air barrier over the top. I wanted to, but we didn't complete the connection here. So this detail here, it's great. I didn't complete it, I guess. Some plywood here. So this is a 2x6 and a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. And this is our air barrier. So our air barrier runs along behind this, and then it's taped onto the 2x4 wall here. So it's a 2x6 wall, a 2x4 wall, and a 2x6 wall. So it comes along here like this, and it's taped on like that. And then we put this stud on top of it when we built this wall. And then we put a piece of Adhero all the way around to the outside and tied that air barrier connection, this air barrier connection here, onto here. And then we put a piece of 3/4 inch buck in the window. And then that air barrier connection is going to be made with a piece of tape here, so that when we install the door, we can tape the door to the air barrier, which will go from the door up, connect onto this, and then go back in, and then turn and go down this wall. So we've got a positive, verified pathway for the air barrier, and we're not hoping. So that's cool. This is the kitchen sink window. We got this one in. And this was a hand-me-down glaze, and we broke it. So unfortunately, it's only an R5 window now, and it's gonna have to be like that for a little while. So we cleaned up the glass, and we taped it so it wasn't like shedding glass bits. This is the spacer inside the window. So it's only 2 pane now. But we installed it because it helps us put the frame together, and we screwed the frame in and made sure that the frame was really plumb and everything looks good. And then we put all the securement clips on it and smashed it up against the outside gasket. And I think we're gonna leave it like that for a while. It's not air sealed. There is 2 vents or 2 weep holes on this window that will leak air in here, but it's vastly better than not having a glass at all. So I'm not going to air seal it because A, I don't want to waste the material, and B, there's not really a big value to it. So we're just going to leave it, and we're going to keep building, and then on one of our other shipments, I'll get another glass, and it'll be no big deal. So we'll pop another glass in there. It was a hand-me-down glass already. The high cost of free. You get a free glass. You go through the labor of getting a frame for it to match it, and then I broke it. Literally, we broke it just moments before we installed it. It sat in the yard for 2 years. It sat in my friend's driveway for 4 months. It sat inside this barn for a month. We moved it 3 times inside, and while they picked it up with the carts, and it just slipped right off the cart and dinged the corner on the edge of the cart, I guess, when it was slipping down to the plywood, and it stressed the corner, and this stress just instantly shattered the entire pane because it's tempered. But that's cool. We're insulating underneath. Everything is sort of in a little bit of a different state right now, so it's kind of nice to see. So this is the lift slide. It's 12 feet wide and 9 feet tall. That's a 10-foot ceiling. Oi, Gilberto, come check out for the photo. See. So there's a man. It's not super tall, but it's a big door. Like it. Gracias. So we screwed the top. This door is on the windward side, and we have a 165 mile an hour wind load here. So we've got to screw about every 8 inches. Some of them are even closer than that. Just to make sure it stays there. When the wind is blowing on it, my daughter says, "Is that thing gonna fall down?" I'm gonna tell her I did the best I could. So, screwing the lift slide. No screws on the bottom. This is the roof, the 90 mil EPDM roofing, and it comes all the way inside here and makes our pan for the door. So no screws in the bottom on this one. And it's detailed all the way across there. And then on the sides, so we pull the bezel, the window bezel, and we go through the window bezel here and screw into the buck. And these have an angle on them so that the drill doesn't hit the glass. And those will be hidden behind the buck. And then on the top, we pull the track. You could go through the buck too, but you need a extra big screw because it's kind of long. So, and the space at the top is a little bigger. So we pull the track and we get it with like a 5-inch screw. You gotta check your screws. I don't know what size you need. Depends on all kinds of stuff. So we got a squeaker. So look, there's some sap. So the top is screwed here, and then on this side we screw it in the plissé track. So the screws are in the track for the plissé. It's very strong. We didn't do that. So yeah, we're gonna like this door, I think. And you put some lube on that gasket on the top. We've been getting a lot of squeakers. Something to do with the surface tension of the gasket, I guess. I don't really know. So here's a regular fixed glass install. We're insulating underneath, obviously. So this is our air barrier here because it ties onto the window. And then this is our air barrier here that brings this Intello air barrier out to the face, just like I showed you on the door. Except the piece of tape that goes on here has to be bigger because we have this 2x4 and the sloping built in. So we're gonna put a Hero across there, which looks like this here. So the Adhero is not quite to the top and not quite to the bottom. And then we'll put a piece of tape on the top and bottom to make the final seal there. Which looks really good. And we're stuffing the window with mineral wool. I don't know if you can see that in the glare. Mineral wool on the sides. I try and keep an inch so you can get your finger in there. 1 inch is better than like a 1/4 inch. It's really hard to do a 1/4 inch. We have some places under the window here where there's a 1/4 inch. So, stuffing it in there. But sometimes the window ends up really close, like this one. It's kind of just sitting on the jamb in this one spot, which isn't the case over there. So there's like a 1/8 of an inch difference. So this one ended up really close, which is fine. So we caulked them together, but you can see there's a little crack here. You can see the caulking inside there. So we have a 1/2 inch here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna gun this and get that little bit there. Kind of, I could have done a little better with that one, but this was like my first window here where we mold them together. So, but we're gonna fill this with Viscon fiber underneath here, and then we're gonna do a 1/2 inch up on the window tape and then down onto here. So this is where the ExoSeal stops. So all of this is, we have 1 inch from here to here, and this is where we're gonna tape to, and then this is just air barrier out here. So this is water barrier and air barrier. And screws in the bottom of this one. Ideally we won't be leaking a lot, but if we do, we're using the nail sealing capability of the bitumen pan liner here. So it's important to screw this because we don't want this moving like that. So the crane worked good. We had to ballast it extra for the lift slide, and then we had to shorten it. So one cool thing we figured out was the top of the crane has to get really close to the glass at some points, so we taped some rubber on there just in case. And then I have these long 6-inch bolts that are fully threaded, and so we use them to adjust the height using oak blocks to get it just right. So we ended up, for the lift slide, we ended up taking off the 2 foot, putting on this piece of 1 foot, and then shimming it up like 4.5 or 5 inches. So I guess it's twofold. It's like a little bit of a pain because you have to adjust it, but it's a little bit awesome because you can adjust it. So here's just another window. It's getting nice and quiet in here now that they fill these cracks up. And then this is the French door. I have not screwed this yet. It's still just sitting on bags and blocks, or I guess we stole the bag. So maybe it's just sitting on 1 bag and 1 block. The bags are holding air good, so that's good. So we were working on this yesterday, but I ran out of time. So just to talk about what we did real quick, because that was a time saver. Let's see here. Oops. Okay, so this is the full 3-way planing laser. I don't even understand why they sell a different laser than that, because this is what we put the screws in with. So this is a lineman's impact, which I like a lot because it has a 7/16 drive. So this is a 7/16 drive with the quick lock, and you don't have to have a bunch of adapters. I can go 7/16 straight to Torx. It's like a T30. It's heavy, but it drives the screw really effectively. So we're going to use this on our CLT project too for screwing panels. Anyway, the ones you can buy at Home Depot have a 1/2-inch drive, and I think they suck. So I got this one at Lineman Supply. And the 7/16 drive is awesome because we have 1/4-inch drive stuff, but we snap them off all the time. So when it's 1/4-inch drive, and if you get the one from Home Depot with the 1/2-inch hex, 1/2-inch square, like regular socket stuff, when you want to put in a Torx screw, which everything we do is Torx, you end up trying to adapt it down to a 1/4-inch and then putting a regular Torx bit in it, and it just snaps them off. So anyway, we put the laser like this, and I set up this laser to shoot a plane across both of these doors like that. And then we measure off of the framing on this side and on that far side. And then if you put your tape measure right next to the laser, like right here, you can adjust this screw and turn the laser a little bit to make the line move like this on that side for the other guy. But your tape measure is so close to the laser that it doesn't actually change your measurement. So you can kind of keep calling out your measurement as the same because it's not moving. And then that guy can just try and match whatever you have. But you got to be really close to the laser with your tape measure to make that work. And don't measure off the tape and all this buildup, because that'll give you a different measurement. So we try and get to like a 30-second, you know. I don't want to say plus or minus a 64th, because like these are ridiculous measurements. We have shims, like a 1 mil shim is probably fine. So like if you're shimming it with a millimeter shim, it's probably okay. Ridiculous fine measurements are great. It's got to be really level and plumb. But as far as straightness, it's like, what are we measuring off of? Like, what is the thing that we're basing this standard on? It's like it's wood stuff. So don't go crazy. Okay, well, that's kind of where we're at. We got some ERV stuff happening. That's going to be a whole project. ERV stuff. And yeah, so we're going to have these insulated, buttoned up, and taped. And we're using the pre-folded Profect tape, which you can see this light blue color here. That's the pre-folded tape. So we'll use that, like I said, a 1/2 inch on the window, and then across the insulation, and then onto the air barrier. So it's 4 sides on the inside and up, over, and down on the outside. Don't seal the bottom on the outside. It's a mistake. Cool. Yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks for looking.